Joe Biden's granting mass thing. He's going to formally grant.
That was Donald Trump in Racine, Wisconsin, where he was speaking, I guess, on Tuesday, or some shell of the broken man that is Donald Trump. May I play you that just one more time? Can you try to make out what he is saying at all? Something about Biden foaming, granting, I don't know. Here, play this clip.
Joe Biden's granting mass thing. He's going to formally grant.
Then Donald Trump talks about George Stephanopoulos, and this is how he says his name. Play this clip.
And ABC, you know, they have George Stopalopoulos. I call him Slopadopoulos. George Stopalopoulos. I said, George, I've had you up to here. You got to start telling the truth.
Then a very confused Donald Trump gets distracted and forgets what he's talking about during his speech to aimlessly rant about sharks once again. Play the clip.
Beautiful, right? What's better, this or sitting on the Pacific or the Atlantic, which has sharks? You don't have sharks. See, that's a big advantage.
That's what Donald Trump is talking about at this event. Of course, this follows Donald Trump saying that Milwaukee, where the Republican National Convention will be taking place next month, is a horrible city. Then Donald Trump claims that he won Wisconsin in 2020, which is a complete lie. Play the clip.
Do you remember in 2016 we won? And then we did much better here in 2020, but lots of things happened. And then in the end, we won. But by that time, it was a little late. But
just pull up the graphic right here. Donald Trump clearly lost the state of Wisconsin. And the fact that he's up there in 2024, just lying about winning a state that he lost, should be disqualifying in and of itself. Or how about this fake conversation that Donald Trump claims that he had with Melania, who doesn't even want to be seen with him in public, where he talks about this fake conversation that obviously never took place, where he's like, honey, do you know how big my crowds are? I'm bigger than Elvis. I'm bigger than Elvis, honey. It's so odd. Here, play this clip.
I said, honey, I'll tell you. It was unbelievable. How good was it? It was unbelievable. The crowd, nobody's ever seen a crowd. That broke every record in New Jersey history. Nobody's ever seen 100, and I don't have a guitar. Don't forget, Elvis had a guitar. I don't have a guitar. I have nothing. I stand up here by myself. Terrible. But
by the way, it should be noted that when Donald Trump arrived in Wisconsin, he did that thing that we've been exposing where he waves to nobody. You can see him right here do that. Show you Donald Trump waving to absolutely nobody again. Play this clip. Who are the people in the crowd? It's people like this guy or her. And she was asked by one of these right-wing networks, so why are you here? What is it that Donald Trump does that you support? Watch her answer. Play this clip.
What do you love most about President Trump?
I don't know. Dad, what do I love most?
Everything? That's hard to just choose one thing, right?
Actually, I don't want to make fun of that. That's actually quite sad to see that. Then Donald Trump talks about MAGA Republican Congress member Brian Steele, who he says is up to some good J6 scams and stunts and hustles. What are you talking about? Play this clip.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Ed. Thanks, Derek. That's great. Brian Steele took the place of somebody that wasn't nearly as good as him. Doing a much better job than his predecessor. Thank you very much. That's great. And he's working on all sorts of J6 scams and hustles and what's happened. And he's in charge of the committee. And I hear you're doing a fantastic job. And you're going to make sure that we have an honest election in the great state of Wisconsin, right?
Donald Trump then attacks the January 6th committee. Play the clip.
Now, the J6 committee, I call it the unselect committee. They're unselect. They're the most unselect. We should have people like you. We should have put Vivek on the committee, right? And our congressman on the committee, right?
Donald Trump then says, Citizen Zip Play the clip.
The fast track to rapid citizenship.
Then it gets into the xenophobic part of the speech where Donald Trump rallies the crowd to chant, "Send them back," referring to immigrants. That's what they're chanting, "Send them back, send them back." Play this clip.
Send them back, 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 send them back.
Donald Trump then criticizes people with all of these different languages who come here to the United States of America. I mean, by the way, your first wife is Czech. English was not her first language. Your third wife is from Slovenia. But go ahead. Just this is part of your xenophobic rant. Here, play this clip.
Think of it. You have people that come in illegally that don't speak the language. We don't even know the country. These are countries where we have nobody in our country that even understands the language.
Donald Trump then calls any debt forgiveness for student loan debt a vile policy by President Biden. Play the clip.
He did that with the tuition, and that didn't work out too well. He got rebuked, and then he did it again. It's going to get rebuked again, even more so. It's an even more vile attack. But he did that with tuition.
Donald Trump then says that it's like a bad thing. In other words, that it's too politically correct to shoot people who are accused of crimes. It's too politically correct to say that shooting people is a bad thing. Play the clip.
And if that happened to him in his country, they would have had him killed immediately. He would have been killed immediately. But here we're very nice. We're politically correct. Also,
before Donald Trump took the stage, you had that MAGA Republican Congress member, Brian Steele. He tried to attack President Biden, but then you'll see how he fumbled the attack. Here, play the clip.
And you notice everybody that's come up and back has had no problem walking on the stage? It's hard to believe. Donald Trump was first elected to the United States Senate when I was -8 years old. That's true. President Biden was elected when I was -8 years old.
Donald Trump then attacks Cassidy Hutchinson, which I believe would be, by the way, Cassidy Hutchinson, of course, who testified before the January 6th committee, who worked for Mark Meadows, who's a witness in the Washington, D.C. federal criminal case against Donald Trump. She's a former Republican. I think she still is a Republican, just not a Trumper, after everything she saw and witnessed. She's falls under the protective order, so perhaps another violation of the protective order. But again, what are you talking about with the people here? All you're talking about is attacking witnesses in your cases. Here, Trump attacks Cassidy Hutchinson. Play the clip.
remember they said I attacked Secret Service agents while I was in the back of a car. And I have friends that say, don't change that story. Man, you sound tough as hell. That's good. You know, these guys are like 30 years old. One is a weightlifter. The other one's a karate top guy or something. I went for the one who was rebuffed, but my hands wrapped around the other one's neck. I would have been in trouble if I did that, I think. But what happened is when Secret Service went in, they totally told the proper story, which was nothing happened. Absolutely nothing happened. Then she supposedly changed her story. Something went on there.
And could we compare that, though, to what President Biden was talking about today? Like, President Biden's speech today was about, President Biden said, could we bring the country together and try to find bipartisan solutions to fix the border? I'm always down for a bipartisan solution. Here's what President Biden said. Play the clip.
Folks, I'm not interested in playing politics with the border or immigration. I'm interested in fixing it. I said it before. I said it before, and I'll say it again today. I will work with anyone to solve these problems. That's my responsibility as president. That's our responsibility as Americans. Because the simple truth is, there's not a single damn thing we can't do if we put our minds to it. We got to remember who in the hell we are. We're the United States of America, and nothing is beyond our capacity. We're a nation of immigrants. And that's who we are. God bless you all, and may God protect our forces. Thank you.
Let me show you another clip of President Biden right here. Let's play it.
We have to acknowledge that the patience and goodwill of the American people is being tested by their fears at the border. They don't understand a lot of it. These are the fears my predecessor is trying to play on when he says immigrants, immigrants. And his words are poison the blood of the country. When he calls immigrants, in his words, animals. When he was president, he separated families and children at the border. And now he's proposing to rip spouses and children from their families and homes and communities and place them in detention camps. He's actually saying these things. It's hard to believe it's being said, but he's actually saying these things out loud.
So you see why right-wing propaganda media has to go after Biden the way they do and try to prop up Donald Trump. Because if you actually look at the differences of their speeches, you have someone in President Biden who's acting like a leader, talking about solutions, talking about issues in a very passionate and compassionate way. On the other hand, you got Donald Trump talking about, George Stephanopoulos and granting Maas, and saying that he won Wisconsin in 2020, waving to no one who's around him, saying that he likes that the MAGA Republican Congress members are involved in J6 scams and hustles and stunts. What are we talking about here, people? Anyway, let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 3 million subscribers thanks to your support. Thanks for watching.
Enough! Send him to the big house, not the White House. Get the new exclusive tees, mugs, and stickers right now at store.MeidasTouch.com. That's store.MeidasTouch.com.